and welcome to Anne's Family Recipe. Today I'm making chocolate chip cookie dough brownies. So today's recipe comes from a family friend on my husband's side, and she made these for my cousin's baby shower last weekend. And they were so delicious. I've never had any brownies like these. One of my best friends from college, Rachel, had a chocolate chip cookie dough wedding cake, which aside from my own pumpkin spice wedding cake, was the best wedding cake I've ever eaten in my life. And these brownies reminded me of that. It's a super thick and fudgy brownie, straight out of the box. I have no problem with that, with a nice layer of chocolate chip cookie dough frosting on top. You are going to love these. The first step is to prepare our flour for the cookie dough. So you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and then sprinkle 2 cups of all-purpose flour onto a lined baking tray. Mine has parchment paper on it, and you're going to spread it out and then bake the flour, again around 350 degrees for maybe 5 to 6 minutes. And this just kills any bacteria that might be in the raw flour because you're not really supposed to eat flour in its raw state. I was so thrilled to see Lori recommend this tip in her recipe. This is something I do too. In fact, I introduced this idea last year in my cookie dough truffle recipe, so I'll leave that link down below as well. Now you can see that once it bakes, it gets a little bit clumpy, so after it's cooled completely, I just took a fork and kind of broke it all up so that it would incorporate smoothly into our cookie dough. So next, I'm just going to prepare a 13 by 9 inch glass baking dish of chewy brownie mix. I used the Duncan Hines chewy fudge brownie mix. Lori recommended this as her favorite, and on the back you'll see you can do fudgy or cake-like, and in my opinion, fudgy is the only way to go, so that's what I chose, and I just followed everything on the package. So that had 2 eggs, 1/4 cup of water, 1/2 cup of oil, and then depending on the type of pan you use, that's how you know what the temperature of your oven should be and how long to bake them. Once the brownies are finished baking, you want them to cool completely so that when you frost them in the cookie dough layer, it doesn't melt. So for that incredible top layer, I'm starting with 2 sticks of room temperature unsalted butter. Lori's recipe called for margarine, but that's not an ingredient I typically have on hand, so again, I just use the unsalted butter. And to that, I added a cup of light brown sugar and 1/2 cup of white sugar. And I used my electric hand mixer just to start beating this all together. You could also use a stand mixer if you have one. And to this, I added 4 tablespoons of milk and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and mix that all together. And then I added in my pre-baked flour 1 cup at a time and then mixed it in between just so there wasn't a total cloud of flour in my face. There wasn't any salt listed in the original recipe, possibly because margarine might already be a little salty, I'm not sure. But when I tasted my batter, I thought it was lacking a little bit of saltiness, so I just added a pinch, and this sort of helps bring out all the other flavors in your cookie dough. Next, I'm adding an entire bag of mini semi-sweet chocolate chips. And for this, you don't really want to use your mixer anymore. It's better to mix them in by hand. So I grabbed a rubber spatula and stirred everything together until it was well incorporated. Then I put dollops of this cookie dough batter all over the surface of the brownies and used an offset spatula. You could also use a knife or even your rubber spatula to just sort of mush it all over the top. It was a little bit difficult to spread, but it ended up working out just fine. And once the cookie dough layers all spread out, you want to cover these and refrigerate them just for about an hour because it makes that cookie dough layer solidify a little bit, and that makes the brownies a lot easier to cut into. These cookie dough brownies are so decadent. My entire family love them. This would be a great recipe to try right now since many of us are stuck inside. You probably have all of these ingredients already in your pantry, and it would be something fun to do with your kids. Now this portion you're seeing here is probably enough for 4 people. They're very, very rich, but that's a good thing, right? When a little goes a long way. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram at Anne's Family Recipe, and give this video a thumbs up if you like what you saw here today. Thank you so much for joining me here in my kitchen, and I'll see you again soon with another family recipe.